Hey everyone, welcome back to Gardenstategrowing. We are back in my kitchen again today. And today I'm here to teach you about a vegetable you may not have heard about before. I mean, we've all been to parties, right? And we've all eaten coleslaw. That's pretty synonymous. You just take cabbage, a little, whatever recipe you have, and that's fine. But today we're here to talk about the kohlrabi. But I bet it's a little less famous or a little less unusual to have broccoli slaw. Now, have you ever had broccoli slaw? It's amazing. It has bacon, it has raisins, a bunch of sugars. It's really absolutely delicious. But the thing is, I just harvested a bunch of kohlrabi the other day. Now you might be saying to yourself, what the heck is kohlrabi? Boy, that sure does look like a root vegetable. Well, in reality, it's not a root vegetable. It is more akin to, I used to always describe it as an apple crossed with a potato. But then I heard someone say, it's more like an apple crossed with a broccoli stalk. And that makes a lot more sense to me because the origins of the kohlrabi come from the family of plants that produce Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cabbage. It is very mild in flavor. This is the purple Vienna kohlrabi. I'm not exactly sure if it's, I don't think it's supposed to grow this shape. It's supposed to be more bulbous and round. And I will put a picture of some other kohlrabi so you can see exactly what I'm talking about in this video with these kohlrabis. Now I'm going to cook these in the oven, roasted two different ways, but I'm only going to swap out one ingredient. And the one ingredient I'm going to swap out is these Tellicherry Peppercorns that were recommended from a co-worker, Mint. Her real name is Promethea, but we all lovingly call her Mint, or as I do, I call her Minty Mint, because she's got some spice to her. But she recommended these peppercorns and said they were going to change my life. So I'm going to test one dish with the ordinarily peppercorns that I bought from the supermarket or farmer's market, and then I'm going to try some of these Tellicherry peppercorns that she said was absolutely amazing. So let me bring you in for that. And if you stick around, you're going to see not my broccoli slaw recipe, but I'm going to add kohlrabi to that broccoli slaw recipe because it's going to be a perfect complement to it. So let's get into it. Alright, so real quick, the first thing I want to do is prepare this kohlrabi. But before I do that, I need to set up my first ingredient, and that is going to be this Mississippi Mud Black and Tan beer. This has nothing to do with the recipe and more to do with the chef. I used to drink this a long time ago. It's such a glorious, nice, stout black and tan beer. It's, That's why I have a mustache. Savor that foam. For the first batch, I just kind of sliced them on the diagonal. I put them in here. And I'm going to treat both of these preparations the same way. On this side, I have what looks like French fry cuts. Okay, the only thing I'm going to do differently between these two dishes is Tellicherry peppercorns are going to be different. Other than that, I'm going to keep the recipe very safe, very plain. I want to taste the kohlrabi. I'm going to put the French fry ones in here, maybe half a tablespoon to each of them, just enough to coat. And the same thing with the fry shaped ones. I'm going to toss them. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Of course, either kosher or sea salt is fine. If you want to use pink Himalayan, go right ahead. I found out the origins of pink Himalayan. I'm not happy about it, so I don't buy it anymore. It wasn't really that much of a taste difference for me. I'm going to add just the regular pepper that I bought at your normal supermarket. And I'm going to do a pretty decent heavy dose because I want two things to shine in this recipe. I want kohlrabi and I want the pepper. So I am going to heavily season this. I guess that was about a teaspoon. So now I want to try the other peppercorn, so I have to empty this out. Refill it with the Tellicherries and see if there is any or a significant difference in taste. I hope so. Mint did highly recommend these, so right off the bat I can tell you that these Tellicherry peppercorns, like I smell the ones from ShopRite, right? And I smell, I don't know. Yeah, I might be able to guess if I was blindfolded that that was peppers, but then you have this one. Lavender, jasmine. It is really fragrant and has a ton of aroma. So I can't wait to try this. I just, from smelling it, I have a feeling she knows exactly what she's talking about. As you can see, I put on a pretty heavy dose. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go a little bit more on that because the smell I'm getting out of this is just amazing. It almost smells dill picklish. It's weird. Alright, so let me mix these up. So we have olive oil, garlic pepper, about a half a teaspoon, and salt and pepper to taste. I did go a little bit heavy on the pepper, of course, because this is going to be a pepper challenge, and see if I actually enjoy this so much. I'm going to change the type of peppers I'm going to be using from now on, and I'll tell you flat out, I can almost tell you right now, yeah, I probably am, just from the aroma. So I have these two Corningware dishes. I'm going to throw them in there. I'm going to spread them out a little bit. There we go. One dish done. Throwing it in the oven. About 25 minutes. I'll set a timer and we'll rehash that. We are here for the main dish of this kohlrabi meal prep. I have the roasted kohlrabi to test out those peppercorns in the oven, but what I really wanted to showcase was a broccoli slaw that I'm going to add kohlrabi to, because it does have that really broccoli stalk reminiscent flavor and texture to it, and it's really good. So let me bring you in and show you all the ingredients. They're really simple and it's really easy to put together. The only thing is, you're going to have to tailor this to your taste. These measurements that I have on my ingredients are approximations. It's going to depend on how much broccoli slaw or kohlrabi slaw you want to make. The more you have, the more you're going to have to add some more ingredients. So I am going to add these ingredients, but I am going to taste them, and I'm going to show you quasi amounts that I probably could put together for you. Now, the first ingredient that I'm going to show you is what I consider to be probably one of the most important ingredients. It's the one that's going to layer all of these natural flavors to this dish, besides the broccoli and the kohlrabi, and that is this gorgeous bacon that I picked up. Now, I'm very fortunate. I have a Polish, Slovak deli kind of in a corner mart, and they have some of the most amazing bacon. Now, as you can see, this is, I had them cut it about 1/8 of an inch thick. It is not cured bacon. It is fresh bacon, but it is double smoked, and it does have some of the most amazing flavors. Now, for the bacon, the way I'm going to cook that, this was a pound, and I probably used about 2/3 a pound for this recipe. I'm going to cook this all up. I might not use it all, depending, but I want to give you a restaurant style tip. When you're cooking a large amount of bacon, what you can do is, I already have my oven set to 350 for roasting the kohlrabi, is just put them on some parchment paper or on a rack, and you can take them and stick them in the oven, and you're going to get nice, flat, crispy, perfectly cooked pieces of bacon where you're not struggling and making a mess frying it all up in the pan, doing, you know, you got to do 6 at a time and then 6 at a time. This way I can throw it all in the oven, you know, wait 20 minutes, and I'll have the most beautiful bacon. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it in the oven now. So I do have one, and I do have 2 trays that are going in the oven. It's going to be about 14 pieces of bacon. This is where ingredients start to get a little hypothetical, because it really depends on how much you're adding to this dish, depending on how much the dressing is going to be. So what I'm going to start off with is, I have a cup and a half of just some regular mayonnaise of whatever choice you want. I really don't care. So I'm going to add that mayonnaise to my big bowl. So then my next 2 ingredients are going to be, I have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of regular sugar. I may adjust this depending, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so as you see here, I have my brown sugar, my sugar, and my mayo being mixed up. Now, how I can tell that I have enough brown sugar in this is, I want this mayonnaise to turn into a nice, glorious brown color. And I don't know how much you can see on camera here, but it has definitely taken on a nice darker tone than it had before. I can go right ahead and just do a little pre-taste. Really good. To that bowl, what I'm going to add is, I have here about a cup of raisins. These are golden raisins. I highly recommend you use the golden variety, not the red variety. It just doesn't work well with the dish. We're almost done. So all I'm going to do is, I'm going to add, I had 1 large broccoli floret, and I chopped it down into medium to small size pieces. I'm going to add all of that broccoli, including those stems, because I do love them so much. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all of this kohlrabi to it. All I did was, I added half of a red onion, thinly sliced, nice and long, and I'm going to just mix this all up, and we'll see how it tastes. Before we move any further with the broccoli slaw, I just wanted to show you the kohlrabi that we pulled out of the oven, and it's looking marvelous, so I'm going to give it a taste test. Now, the first one I'm going to taste is the ones I just sliced into discs, olive oil, salt, and the normal pepper I get from the local supermarket. So as you can see, it is nice and crisp and tender. What a great vegetable. I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest with you. It's just tender and juicy and tasty and sweet. A little bit more pepper than I would enjoy, but I wanted to be pepper forward because I wanted to try the difference between the Tellicherries that my friend Mint recommended and just normal store-bought peppercorns. I did these French fry cut style, like a 1/4 by 1/4. These are covered with just olive oil, salt, a little bit of garlic powder, and the Tellicherry peppercorns. So let's see how this one tastes. Oh my God. Excuse me, I need to think. That is definitely like no peppercorn I have ever tasted before in my life. It's not remotely offensive like the other one was. I didn't even have a problem that I laid it on so thick. All I got was just these bounty of flavors that just floral, like jasmine and you know, saffron. These amazing wild. Nicole, do you want to taste these?
Off camera.
Yeah, you can taste them off camera. Okay, so you just got done seeing me taste these kohlrabi pieces, prepare the way I did with the different peppers. And what you didn't see was I brought my wife in here to taste them as well, and I did a blind taste test. I said which one has the store-bought peppers and which one does have the mint Tellicherry recommended peppercorns. And she did come in here and she tried them both and was very confused and asked for some more sampling. So what I wind up doing was I made her leave the room, and I added some more of the mint recommended Tellicherry black peppercorns to the one dish, and then I added the regular store-bought peppercorns to the other dish. I brought her back in here. She tasted them again, and she tasted the Tellicherry ones, and she goes, "That was an amazing dish. The kohlrabi was cooked absolutely perfectly. As far as the pepper goes, it was mild. I could barely taste it, and then had that one specific ingredient that I don't like." And she was not exactly thrilled about it because it still did have a tiny amount at the back end of the thing. But what she didn't realize was I put almost 2/3 the amount on the kohlrabi with the Tellicherry peppercorns than I did with the other one. So she went in again and she tried the other one that I did with the standard pepper after I had put a lot more on it, and she tasted it and she goes, "Oh yeah, this one has a lot more of that flavor I don't like." And she just said, and I said, if you had to choose between, which was the Tellicherry peppercorns, that she did not think that, I mean, I doused it. I put on so much of this stuff, and the only thing I added to it was more flavor, not that peppery, hot nastiness that you don't want to eat. So I highly recommend you at least checking this out. And mint or Promethea, I love you. Thank you so much for this recommendation on the Tellicherry peppercorns, because it has really made a difference to at least this meal. I cannot wait to cook with this more in every other meal that I have. So let's get back to what we were doing. The taste test of the peppercorns is over. All right, so what we have in this glorious section, broccoli, kohlrabi slaw, is we have the bacon that I did cook in the oven. Now I just laid this on parchment paper, threw it in 350. It was about 20-25 minutes. At the very end, as this was cooling down, I spritz some brown sugar just to give it a little extra sweetness. When I did taste the broccoli slaw raw, it needed a little bit of sweetness, but I wasn't going to add it yet because I have now this candied bacon that we're going to go right ahead and use. And I'm sorry, I have to, I'm going to get in here for this. Oh my God. Double smoked Polish bacon, not cured. I'm in heaven. So I just cooked some of the most amazing bacon I've ever cooked before. We're gonna take all this, and I was like, should I add all of it? Oh yeah, I'm gonna add all of it because it's just so good. So I'm gonna chop this up into pieces, little slices, little whatever I think of. I'm just gonna go hilly-nilly with the knife. I'm gonna take this all up and I'm gonna throw it in that broccoli slaw. We're gonna mix it up, and then there's gonna be just a couple more, I don't know, maybe tweaks to the recipe. I think we'll do all right. in all my years of cooking bacon, I don't think I've ever did such a marvelous job. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to put this on video, even if you didn't get to see the whole process. But what I ended up was just this amazing mound of candied bacon in the oven, 350 for about 20 minutes, and oh my, just we'll sprinkle brown sugar at the end, let it melt on the natural heat. So now this is getting mixed in to that broccoli slaw. Alright, so I have been mixing it up, and I found that there's just like a little bit of something missing, and the one thing was I didn't think it had enough mayonnaise in it. There was no dressing to be seen. It's probably clear. So I'm gonna add about a half a cup of mayonnaise to this mixture, but then I'm gonna start to add a little bit of vinegar as well. And this is the point where I can't tell you how much vinegar you're going to need for this recipe. What I do say is start with 1 tablespoon, see how it tastes. If you want a little bit more, add a little bit more. If it's good, stop there. You might need for this batch as much as 3 or 4 tablespoons. So let's mix those ingredients in now, and we will see how it comes out. Alright, so I've added the mayonnaise, and the vegetables have taken on definitely a nicer glaze where I can actually see that there is a coating of some sort of dressing on it. And sweet, delicious. Coleslaw flavoring, absolutely. So the only thing I have to do left is I'm going to put some salt, and I'm going to put some pepper, and I'm going to use that new Tellicherry Peppercorns that I have, and then we're going to add some vinegar to give it just a little bit of that at the end. All right. As far as salt goes, I'm gonna add, I don't know, this is about a teaspoon and a half of salt. I think that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna go harry-carry on the biggest setting with these peppercorns, because I just want as much of this flavor in here right now as I can get, because peppercorn is amazing. Alright, so I've added salt, pepper, of course, Tellicherry peppercorns, and at this point I'm going to start adding vinegar, about a tablespoon at a time, until I feel I like it. So for this gigantic bowl, I'm going to start off with 1. And I have over vinegared my slaws before. I mean, it'll preserve a little bit longer, but it just kind of comes out to taste that no one wants to eat it because it tastes too much like vinegar. So you really want to be careful when you start adding that vinegar into it. So this is 1 tablespoon. I'm going to mix this up, and then we'll see how it tastes. Believe it or not, I'm going to add a little bit more of that pepper. The smell on these peppercorns is addicting. And I'm going to go in for another tablespoon of, I'm using this Sarson's malt vinegar that I got from England or Britain, one of them, when my restaurant was open. But I just happen to love it. But you can use just apple cider vinegar. It works just as well. I just intensely love the malt smell of this vinegar, and I use this to dip my French fries in. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go right ahead and go for another half. So that was a tablespoon and a half. Alright everyone, I'm trying to swallow my food. That is this episode of Garden State Growing. I hope you enjoyed it. Not only did I show you what I do with the vegetables in my garden, like a kohlrabi, something a little more exotic than maybe you've heard of, maybe you have. And I prepared it 2 ways. One way, baked in the oven, very simple, salt and pepper, olive oil, nothing else, just because I want to taste the difference between the Tellicherry peppercorn and your average peppercorn that you get in the supermarket. And I have to say to my friend at work, Mitt, wow, that peppercorn is on another playing field altogether. I feel like I've never eaten a good peppercorn before until I have tried that. It is amazing. I have been dumping it on almost everything that I've made and tasted tonight, and it has just been, you can't go overboard because it just tastes so good and it doesn't kick you in the teeth. But here is that broccoli slaw, and I do have myself a nice big bowl of it. As you can see, I have the broccoli florets, the broccoli stems, and of course the kohlrabi, some red onion, and some bacon, some candied bacon. But the reason why I have a bowl of it is because no one can take a forkful of this and just say, oh, okay, I'm good. I'll be lucky if I don't eat that whole entire gigantic bowl that I made. Where is that? Right here. But you know what the best part about this salad? Or slaw? I don't know. My sister argues with me. She says it's a salad. I say it's a slaw. What do you think? Put it in the comments down below. But the one thing I can say about this dish is, as good as it is right now, so fresh, so just ready to be eaten. If you let this sit in the refrigerator for like a day, or even possibly 2 days, all of these flavors are going to meld together so well and create even a more spectacular dish. Now, if you're someone like me that likes their vegetables raw, they like them crispy, they like them al dente, I love it like this. But if you do wait the 2 days, I'm telling you, the taste level is going to be on another spectrum. Every single person in your family is going to be asking you, where did you get this recipe? And you need to tell them, Gardenstategrowing.com, YouTube / blah, 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 blah. Please, if you've had the opportunity, you like this content, hit that like button. Please don't stop. You need to hit the like button. It really matters a lot to YouTube and me. And if you want to get notified every time I put out a new video, please hit that notification bell and you will get a notification every time I put out a new video, so you could be one of the first people to stamp that like button. Thank you so much. I love you. Don't forget to share this on your page so other family members and friends could see what you're interested in, and maybe they will like me too. I love you, and I will see you on the next episode.